there's 174 NBA players under the age of 25, but today, 149 of them won't be ranked. Because being young in today's NBA doesn't mean potential, it means production. Cade, LaMelo, Ant-Man, all are in their final year of this category, and behind them is the deepest rookie class we've ever seen. Lottery picks already averaging 20, third-year guys making all-star leaps, and franchise timelines accelerating overnight. So it's not who's gonna be great, it's who already is. Because when 174 players qualify and only 25 survive, big names might get left off. Let's get it. Welcome back to another edition of the Hampton Show. Joel, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I feel like after the All-Star break, we're getting some more clarity on who exactly the best teams in the league are.
Today we are ranking the top 25 players under 25. We're going to start at 25 and count down to 1. We're going to go 5 guys at a time. So Joel, give me your 25th best player under the age of 25.
Number 25 is Dylan Harper. Number 24 is VJ Edgecombe. Number 23 is Jalen Suggs. And then these last two players, number 22, Alex Sarr, broke out this year. And then Keontae George, number 21. I'm
going to go Azar Thompson at 25, Alex Sarr at 24. I'm going to do Keontae George at 23, Josh Giddey at 22. And I got Dyson Daniels at 21. I think him defensively and what he has been for Atlanta is a reason they've been able to keep their head above water for them. But yeah, a lot of overlap on our 25 through 21. You can go ahead and get into the top 20 if you want.
From 20 to 16, I have Brandon Miller at number 20. I feel like he's gotten really slept on because of his injury. I'm really high on him still. Amidst of the Hornets win streak, he's been the leading scorer on the team. I think Brandon Miller is deserving of a spot here. Number 19 is Azar Thompson. Just brings an elite skill, and that's defense, and I feel like he's an excellent transition player. Number 18 is going to be Amen Thompson. Kind of lower on him this year. The defense is there, but offensively, he doesn't provide much, especially as a creator in the half court. And I pick somebody who provides defense at a high level, but has more creation ability. He's a better floor spacer, and that's Stephon Castle at number 17. I think Stephon Castle, if the Spurs make it to the finals, is going to be probably a top 3 reason why. We see how he performs matched up against other elite stars. He shut down Cade the other night. Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year, reigning Rookie of the Year, I should say. And number 16, like I said, if this was long-term, he could be higher. But for right now, that's where you got to throw in Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is already playing at a very high level. He's about to make the most threes of anybody as a rookie. He's shooting 40% from 3. Cade Cunningham, if we're talking about long-term, he's top 10 on this list. Easy.
2 problems. Number 1, I'm assuming LaMelo Ball is not on this list. Can you go ahead and admit that?
LaMelo Ball is on this list.
Interesting. Number 2, Amen Thompson being at 17 for you? Was that correct?
He's 18.
18. I have him in the top 10. For you to spit out a lie so quickly and abruptly about how he doesn't affect the game outside of defense and transition offense is just factually not true. It's a guy who averages 8 rebounds a game, 5 assists per game, a guy who has stepped in and covered for Fred VanVleet being hurt. Yes, Reed Shepherd has taken on a little bit of that role, but Amen Thompson has been a huge part of why Houston has the same record now that they did last year. But Amen Thompson has taken a major, major leap this year, and for him to be in the same conversations as guys you're already describing is completely ridiculous for me. At number 20, we agree. I have Brandon Miller there. VJ Edgecombe's at 19. I almost commented whenever you had him at 24 because I thought that was a little bit low as well. LaMelo Ball, I got him at 18. It blows my mind, and I know this doesn't concern to you because apparently you have him higher for some reason. It blows my mind that LaMelo has become an afterthought in a season where he's played 50 games already. The guy is still 24 years old, averaging 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. But I have to say, if you look at the 2 games before his 39-point performance against Washington, they were against 2 playoff contenders in Cleveland and Houston, and he struggled in both of those. Efficiency is why he's a little bit lower on my list, but I'm not going to sit here and act like he's an afterthought either. At number 17, I agree with everything you said at Cade Cunningham. He is I think the best player and the future of this franchise in Charlotte. And at 16, Stephon Castle has quickly become one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. And that's why I was so wrong about the Spurs coming into this season, because I didn't factor in what he could be and what he has become.
I just don't think there's a huge gap between Stephon Castle and Amen Thompson. In fact, I favor Stephon Castle. I think right now his portability is why I favor him a little bit more. I think Amen Thompson, he's been fine this year. There's really not been an area that he's improved in his game that's
Amin Thompson's an
much better than
infinitely
last
better
year.
athlete, an infinitely better athlete.
Okay.
Okay, you're saying there's not that much different. That is a
There's
huge
not.
difference.
As
That is a
as
huge
players,
difference. Okay.
there's not a huge difference between the two of them. Amen Thompson hasn't really improved from last year. He as a starter, he averaged 17, 5 and 5 last year. I think more. So I think that Amen Thompson, a big reason why the Rockets as a whole have kind of like felt a little bit disappointing at times has been because of him and Sengun and their development. That's why. So I
Amin
think
Amin Thompson's been thrown into a role that he was not expecting due to injury, and he has excelled in that role. I mean, the guy averaged, you want to bring up his starting stats. He averaged 14 points last year, he was fifth in DPOY, made a first team all defense, and now he's improved on that offensively, stepped into a role he's not comfortable in, similar to what Cooper Flagg was doing to begin the year, playing point guard in Dallas. And I think he's kept Houston afloat. I don't think
Amen's position is point guard. He came into the draft as a point guard.
Fred VanVleet not being there has a lot to do with it. You're just asking him, you're throwing him into a playoff situation in his second or third year in the league. Go figure out how to play next to Kevin Durant. Go figure out how to get Alperen Sengun all the touches he needs to get. It's a hard situation for a young player to be in, and he's excelled on that and improved his stats across the board.
The 14 points per game is not accurate because as a starter, that's not what he averaged. He averaged more than that. But you have him top 10. I think that it's egregious. But number 15 is Denny Avdija. Denny Avdija is an all-star this year. I have questions about his ability to translate in the postseason. Number 14 is Paolo Banchero. He still has flashes. He's played much better as recently, but he's also been shooting lights out from three. I think that Paolo Banchero has the playoff performances to make you believe in him long term. 13, I have Franz Wagner. It's just durability. That's the only concern with him. Franz Wagner, when he's healthy, he's borderline all NBA player. He can perform at that type of level. Number 12 is Alperen Sengun. I think Sengun, albeit his efficiency being disappointing, he's leading the Rockets in rebounds, assists, and he's second in points. He's averaging 20, 10, and 6 essentially. Alperen Sengun is like the hub of the offense, and he makes it go. But there is some serious concerns about his efficiency long term and whether or not that touch will improve. And I think that's what's holding him back. And then number 11 is Jalen Duren, another all-star. Now, do you have Amen Thompson over some of these guys? Do you have Amen Thompson
I'm
over
above
over
all of them. I have him above all of them.
you have Amen Thompson? You cannot tell me with a straight face Amen Thompson is a better player than Jalen Duren.
We're not comparing Amin Thompson and Jalen Duren. Can you continue to number 10? Because I was so infuriated about the Amin Thompson nonsense. I didn't even hear 15 through 14. So I'm going to have to re-ask about them too.
Okay, Denny Avdija clears Amen Thompson. Paulo Banchero clears Amen Thompson right now. Franz Wagner also, when healthy. Alperen Sengun, his own teammate, is better than him. And Jalen Duren. I think Amen Thompson, listen, man, I think he's really good. I think top 10 is a little bit overrated for him.
Do you have Paulo ahead of Franz?
No, I have Franz ahead of Paulo.
Just making sure on that. Another note about Amin Thompson. You want to sit and act like he hasn't improved anything. He's gotten to the line a lot more this year than he did last year. Not only has he done that, he's improved his free throw percentage from a poor free throw shooter, 68% to 80% on the year. That is another improvement on the laundry list of things he has gotten better at this year. And I expect him to take that 20-point leap next season. Anyways, we'll cross that bridge whenever we get to it. All the guys you just named do not clear him, and I'll explain that later. Denny Avdija is 15 for me. Fantastic statistical year, all-star year. I just have to discount what their record is, which is why he's at 15. Jalen Duren at 14, another all-star on this list. Paulo Banchero at 13, great game from him earlier this week. Chet Holmgren at 12, and Scotty Barnes at number 11.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. I think this is like the tier of players that we're going to have around the same ballpark. Jalen Johnson to me is number 10. He's really playing amazing. broken out this year, and he's really one of few players to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists. Defensively is where he's going to get knocked because he doesn't play much defense, and he has all the athletic traits to be a good defender. He just doesn't buy in on that end, but I think it would make him so much better. Number 9 is Scotty Barnes. He has single-handedly been a big reason why the Raptors have a great defense this year. They don't have a true big man at all times. Jakob Poeltl has been in and out of the lineup, and Scotty Barnes has still been able to lead them to a top-level defense. His ability to defend the paint, protect the rim, and switch out and be a valuable defender that way has been huge for that team. Number 8 is Jalen Williams. Probably my toughest eval of all of these players just because OKC won without Jalen Williams. When he came back into the lineup, it felt like he's the one who messed things up. But he's coming off a pretty great playoff run where he really turned it up in after the second round of the playoffs, and he started to come into his own and play at a really high level. But I have question marks if he can be like a number one guy on the team. I have question marks about his fit at times as well, especially he's shooting 31% from three this year. So Jalen Williams was like the toughest evaluation I had. Number 7 is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley can control one side of the ball. That's defense. He's an elite defender. But my issue with Evan Mobley is that I'm kind of worried that his offensive game is always going to be reliant on another playmaker getting him involved. He's not going to become a player that's able to get his own offense consistently, and that's what scares me about him. And then number 6 is probably our biggest discrepancy on the list, but this is where I have LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball has superstar level impact, and it's evident in all of the metrics that he has this year. In terms of net rating, he's in the 97th percentile. In terms of offensive rating when he's on the court, he is in the 100th percentile. There are very few players that have as much impact as LaMelo Ball. And I know that Concanepple is the new shiny toy in Charlotte, and I think Concanepple is a big reason why Charlotte is relevant, but LaMelo Ball is what makes that offense go. LaMelo Ball, when he's on the floor, Concanepple splits drastically change in a positive direction. LaMelo Ball is the table setter for the Hornets offense. All of the metrics would ensure that his on and off numbers are the best on the team. And this is now 2 years now where when he is on the floor, the Hornets are more than 9 points better when he's on the floor. The problem in previous years is not LaMelo wasn't that great. It was that LaMelo's team was awful. This is the first time he has a good, healthy supporting cast since maybe his second year in the league. And they're on the verge of making the play-in, potentially making the playoffs. And LaMelo Ball is spearheading that. Like LaMelo Ball, when he plays, they are a 500 team. When he doesn't play, they are 1-5 or 1-6, I believe. He has the most positive impact on the Hornets. And that's why I think that, like, I think of LaMelo, him or Evan Mobley or Jalen Williams or Scotty Barnes. Like, I would go with LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo offers a higher ceiling than all of them as a player. I think injuries just hold him back. But if LaMelo Ball can be healthy for a couple years and be durable, I think we're going to start talking about him as a consistent all-NBA performing player.
Number one, I mean, this may be the easiest argument we've ever had. Charles Lee would disagree with you. I was at the game Thursday. He did not finish the game. He was on the bench from the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter until the 2-minute mark. They only brought him in for offensive possessions because they know the Achilles heel is defense and shot selection. His efficiency has not been good, and his shot selection is what hinders this team from being a average or good team to being a great team. And I've never seen somebody who has had a 6 points per game drop in their averages get ranked as a top 6 player under the age of 25. LaMelo Ball, even though it was a smaller sample size, but now it's pretty even. He played 47 games last year and averaged 25 points per game. He's played 49 this year and he's averaging 19. What about that yelled that he is getting better, that he is better than all the other 20 players that you just listed?
Well, you ignored what I said, that he has the most impact on the team. Charles Lee, it doesn't matter whether he agrees or
Not to the
not.
coach.
The
Not to the
numbers are
coach.
the numbers. And it's also just completely eliminating the context of that. He got into a car crash like the day before. So I think that that probably has a little bit to do with it, if I'm not like
The
mistaken.
entire season, Joel. The
I think
entire season.
it would have a little bit to do with it.
Okay.
This is LaMelo Ball, and these are the numbers that would suggest that he has elite level impact. On offense, LaMelo Ball, when he's on the floor with the Hornets, they have a 125.7 offensive rating. That is elite. We're talking about when LaMelo Ball is on offense, even taking into account his shot selection. When he is on the floor, the Hornets net an elite level offensive rating. When he is off the floor, that offensive rating goes from 125.7 to 110.5. That's a 15-point drop. He is a plus 15 offensive player when he's on the floor. So all the efficiency doesn't take into account that his biggest trait, the biggest variable, the biggest value component to his game is not his scoring. It is his playmaking. It is his table setting. And when he's on the floor, he does that at a high level. That's why Cunningham has averaged similar amount of points as him. Brandon Miller has averaged more points than him in the month of February because LaMelo Ball is getting these players involved. Miles Bridges sometimes averages more points than him. LaMelo is more of a facilitator than he is a scorer. And I think the efficiency is a big deal. And I think that moving forward, you'd like to see that improve. But even now, he has elite level impact. Like I said, they are 15 points better on offense with LaMelo Ball on the floor. That's just the type of impact that no other player on the Hornets can say they have.
Look, I'm not arguing he's not a good player. I have him ranked in the top 20 of my list. List I saw online, he was not in the top 25. You have
And
him at
it's,
6.
yeah, and
So
it's
I'm trying
dumb.
to understand this discrepancy because you say table setting is his best, his best skill that he has. And this is the second lowest assist average he has had in his 7-year NBA career. And I'm going to keep going back to efficiency. It's a guy who takes 10 threes per game and shoots it in the mid 30s as far as percentage from that distance. That is a problem, and that is why they're still 3 games under 500. This would be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference if he got his shot selection under control. I think that is a fact, and that's what's holding them back. Yes, he's a phenomenal player. I don't think they should trade LaMelo Ball. I'm not here to say that he's a top 20 player, especially under the age of 25. But yeah, as far as assisting, it hasn't been his best year in that category, and the efficiency is what keeps me back. I understand the metrics. I agree with the metrics, but I think he still has a lot of room to get better, and he's not a top 6 player in this category, not even
So
close.
you mentioned the list that didn't feature LaMelo in the top 25. I don't care about that. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too. That's why I have him in here.
yes, because like there's no way because you had LaMelo Ball on your list, which is fine. But there is no way that players like Dyson Daniels or Josh Giddey
No,
are over LaMelo Ball on this list.
no.
And I don't think that it's crazy to say LaMelo Ball's better than Amen Thompson. He's better than Paulo Banchero. He's better than Jalen Johnson or Scotty Barnes, or
Jalen
that
Johnson is crazy. Yeah.
you'd rather LaMelo Ball be your number one player over Jalen Williams. I think LaMelo Ball is that impactful. And looking at the metrics for Cunningham, the on and off with him on offense is plus 3.7. With LaMelo was plus 15. We you get into the data, LaMelo Ball is the most impactful player on the team. And even
Of
with the
course he's
assists
better with the only true point guard on the roster. Like, what are we doing?
with LaMelo Ball, the only thing that's holding him back is the durability concerns. That's it.
Yeah.
But even with his assist numbers being less than normal, he is still the decision maker for the Hornets offense. He is the lead decision maker. And the Hornets have been one of the hottest teams in basketball because they've been healthy and LaMelo has led an elite offense. That is why.
You stating that you would rather have LaMelo as your number one option over Jalen Johnson is egregious. And to be
No,
quite frank, you can't say it with a straight face. I mean,
no.
you're talking about a guy who averages 23, 11, and 8 at 6'8". And yes, he's not the best defender, but he can be. And also, Jalen Johnson has played a consistent amount. When LaMelo Ball, this is the first time in ages where he's been on the floor
What do
consistently
you
for
mean?
his team.
Jalen Johnson last year got hurt. Then he got
Jalen
shut down.
Johnson is 2 assists away from averaging a triple double. He's averaging more assists than LaMelo Ball. The thing that you say
And what
LaMelo
does
is the
that lead to?
best at, Jalen Johnson is better than him.
Okay, and this is where you're just looking at PRA. You're just looking at points, rebounds, and assists. Because of points, rebounds, and assists, Jalen Johnson is better than LaMelo Ball. Jalen Johnson, when he's on the floor, the Atlanta Hawks are only 2 points better with him on the floor. The Hornets are 9 points better with LaMelo Ball. Jalen Johnson, for all the numbers that he's averaging, he's not a better half-court advantage creator than LaMelo Ball. He's not a better passer or playmaker. He just has much more usage. That's it. Jalen Johnson, for all his numbers, he is not leading a better offense than LaMelo. And if we're measuring both of them off of their offensive values, then it's, okay, what player leads to a better offense? That is LaMelo Ball, quite
Then,
clearly.
then why don't the Hawks just pick up the phone, Jalen Johnson for LaMelo?
Because, well, I mean, why?
Because
I don't
Jalen
know.
Johnson, one, has a higher ceiling and is a much better player right now. That's
They're
why.
banking on Jalen Johnson. I disagree. I think LaMelo Ball is a better player, and he's leading to a more efficient offense.
Jalen Johnson's third best skill is assists. And he is better than LaMelo Ball at that. I'm not saying straight up. That's what he is.
No, you think that Jalen Johnson is a better playmaker than LaMelo Ball?
I didn't say that. He is averaging more assists than LaMelo Ball right now.
Okay, so what does that mean? What does that tell me?
It means that Jalen Johnson is a better player. If that's his third best thing, if that's an afterthought for Jalen Johnson and he's still averaging more assists than LaMelo Ball, that tells me that JJ is a better player. It's clear.
No, it doesn't. I don't think so. You literally that number's obsolete because you literally just said that he's not a better playmaker than LaMelo Ball.
He's not, but LaMelo's best attribute is being a playmaker.
And what does assists measure? Assists measure playmaking ability. So even with him averaging more assists, if he's not a better playmaker than LaMelo Ball, then that point is negated.
You can still point to usage rate for Jalen Johnson. I'm just saying, JJ is not just this offensive Rudy Gay that does nothing else besides score. The guy averages double-digit rebounds and is 2 assists away from averaging a triple-double.
Yeah,
that
the Hawks
has to
suck.
be something. Yeah, look at what's around him and what has been built throughout this season. He started with Trae Young, and now halfway through the season, you pull the plug on that, and you got to figure out how to do it by yourself. It just makes no sense what Atlanta has done and how they have went about doing this. Charlotte, for once, has had a season where they can all play together and get to know each other and grow as the season goes on. And you've seen it from their record. They're 12-3 since the start of February. And I understand what you're saying about LaMelo Ball. Yes, he's a better playmaker than Jalen Johnson, but you could ask all 30 GMs in the NBA if you'd rather build around Jalen Johnson or LaMelo Ball. All 30 of them would say Jalen Johnson.
And they'd be wrong. It doesn't matter. They would be wrong. Because LaMelo is a better player. Jalen Johnson doesn't play on a bad team. He plays with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, a player in your top 25, under 25. He plays with another
Who else?
player.
You going to bring up Kuminga next? Is that what you're going to do?
Good. CJ McCollum is good. It's not a bad team. It's not a bad roster. Jonathan Kuminga literally showed in his debut that anybody could put up those numbers in Atlanta. Literally.
Yeah,
anybody.
Let's see if Kuminga averages 23, 11, and 8. I'll be the first to say that's not going to happen. At number 10 is Franz Wagner. Taking that All-NBA leap. Sucks that he got injured. Getting to the line more than ever. Shouldered the load without Paulo earlier this season. Jalen Johnson's number 9. I've said enough about him. Evan Mobley's number 8. This was an All-NBA player last year. He still deserves to be in the top 10. Amen Thompson is number 7. Continues to turn the corner as an elite two-way player. He's put a ton of pressure on the paint in transition, like you said, but he's also making plays for his teammates on a regular basis and growing in that area as well. Jalen Williams, I couldn't get last year out of my head whenever it came to him. Number 1, he's the most valuable archetype in the entire league, so you have to put that into consideration. Number 2, This is a guy who won an NBA championship last year and had huge, massive games in the playoffs and NBA finals. Can't get that out of my head. And that injury this year, I think, is why played as poorly as he has. But that is my 10 through 6. We can get into your top five now.
So in the top five, Chet is number 5. 4 is Cooper Flagg. 3 is
What?
Cade. 2 is Ant-Man. And 1 is Wemby.
Chet's number 5
Yes.
and 4 and 3, 2, 1 again.
Cooper Flagg, Cade, Ant-Man, Wemby.
So we agree up top. Really gonna have to really gonna have to build the bridge for me on Chet Holmgren at number 5 on this list.
Oh man,
Go
my
ahead and do
goodness,
that.
you're low on so many players.
I'm not low on him. I have him at 12.
Please, why is a man over Chet Holmgren?
I already said. Have I not said enough about why I believe in Amen Thompson?
Who's the better player right now?
It's hard to compare non-positional players against each other. I think Amen Thompson has done more. I don't want to say more defensively because obviously Chet has anchored the best defense in the entire league. Probably he might win DPOY if Wemby's not available. But Amen, I think, is right above Stephon Castle as the best guard defender in the entire NBA. And that's why I have him as high as I do.
Okay, I just think that Chet Holmgren, I think number 12 is, I'm obviously having top 5, so I'm very high on Chet Holmgren. But Amen Thompson versus Chet, both of their strengths are defensively, what they provide on the defensive side of the ball. Chet anchors a defense better than Amen Thompson. That is just a fact. And then offensively,
Amen Thompson's supposed to anchor a defense as a guard. Get serious.
Derek White does it for Boston. So at this point, I'm getting the better overall defensive player in Chet Holmgren. OKC, when he's on the floor, they're plus 14 with a 105.6 defensive rating. And then offensively, Chet can shoot. He could put the ball on the floor, and he's an elite finisher. But mostly his plus skill is his ability to stretch the defense and shoot from the outside, which is something that Amen Thompson provides nothing of. He shoots 19% from 3 versus a 40% three-point shooter. Chet Holmgren is a better player than him, and I don't think it's crazy to have him top 5. And the reason why he's number 5 is because when you are a player that can anchor the best defense in the sport, you are a top 2 defender in the world, only behind Victor Wembanyama, then you are a top 5 player under 25.
Don't you think he gets a little too much credit for anchoring that defense?
I don't.
If I was an agent for a big man in the NBA, I'd want to place my client on a team with Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, Shea, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, and Jalen Williams. I'd want my big man to be behind those 7 defenders I just named
Isaiah
off
Joe?
the top of my head. Can we not act like he's doing this by himself? Like it's Rudy Gobert in Utah? Because it's not. I didn't wake up today wanting to hate on Chet Holmgren, but you giving him all this credit for Oklahoma City's defensive success is not warranted. Yes, he has earned that, but let's not act like it's just him by himself out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. It's just you put Amen Thompson over him. And your swing factor is that Amen Thompson's averaging 17. That's what Chet is doing. He's averaging 17 on a roster that needs less of his offense.
Number 1, that wasn't my swing factor. Number 2, you haven't failed to answer the question why Jalen Johnson is behind Chet Holmgren, why Franz Wagner, your beloved, is behind him, and all these other guys that you have named, Scotty Barnes,
That's
who you
clear.
were super high on. No,
It's
it's
clear.
not. No, it's not.
Clear.
Those are all guys I have above Chet Holmgren, and it's not that crazy. You just make it seem like I'm crazy.
No, it's clear. Why would I put Jalen Johnson over Chet Holmgren? Jalen Johnson is a terrible defender, and his offense doesn't lead to a top 5 or top 10 level offense. His numbers don't equal impact. They don't. Like, it's not like LaMelo when he's on the floor, the Hornets have an elite offense.
Okay,
The Hawks with Jalen Johnson on the floor are an average offense. That's what they are. The OKC Thunder, Chet Holmgren, has them as the number 1 defense in the sport. So what Chet is great at, which is defense, is already better than Jalen Johnson's offense. Chet's defense is over Jalen Johnson's offense, and then Chet's offense is over Jalen Johnson's defense, which he provides none of. So that's why Chet is better than Jalen Johnson. It's clear. Like, I think it's clear. It's not even a debate. It's clear.
If Cleveland called me tomorrow and I'm Oklahoma City and they asked me, Evan Mobley, for Chet Holmgren. You would think about that, and I would too.
I'd say no if I was OKC. I'd actually say no. I'd say why would I do that? Chet is a more aggressive player. He's more of an aggressive and impactful offensive player, and he's just as good, if not better, of a defender.
But you wouldn't immediately hang up, would you? You wouldn't.
No, but Evan Mobley's very high. Evan Mobley is number 7 for me. Evan Mobley clears Jalen Johnson for me.
And apparently Chet Holmgren clears Evan Mobley for you too. 2 spots ahead of him.
Anyways, it's tougher, but yes, Chet is over Evan Mobley, yes.
My top 5 is simple. It's Cooper Flagg at number 5, putting up numbers only comparable to LeBron James at 18 years old. Pretty phenomenal. At number 4 is Alperen Sengun. Other than Victor Wembanyama, Alperen Sengun has the most, you can argue, the most potential on this list. He's 22 years old. He's taken a 4-point jump leap last year to this year. And you look at his efficiency combined with his playmaking, you're starting to see the baby Jokic that people compared him to earlier in his career. And I understand his usage has gone up because Fred VanVleet has been out, but Alperen Sengun has a high ceiling. I can't wait to see him continue to figure out the game as it goes. At number 3 is Cade Cunningham. I really wanted to put him at 2. This is a guy I have potentially winning the MVP. He's first and fourth quarter points. Might be number 1 on here if he can improve turnover rate and efficiency numbers. Those are the 2 things and 2 reasons why I have him at 3 instead of 2 or number 1. At number 2 is Anthony Edwards. Efficiency has gone up. 3-point shot has gone up. Super excited with what I'm seeing for him. And the playoff track record, I can't get out of my head. The back-to-back Western Conference Finals he's been on. And number 1, and no explanation here, is Victor Wembanyama.
No, this is good, except for Sengun at 4.
Why? Why is that not good?
Because Sengun is not efficient. I love Sengun.
I said improved efficiency. I didn't say he was efficient. I said improved efficiency.
I like Sengun, but I don't know. The time is ticking on him too this year. He's really underwhelming as a scorer. That's about it. That's all that I'm going to say right now. But,
so underwhelming is 23 points per game. That's underwhelming.
Is it 23 or is it 20 flat? Maybe it is 23. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that Sengun.
Oh, my bad. It is 20 flat. 21 if you want to round up.
Sengun is a really good player. I don't know. I think that type of ceiling, when he's such a negative on offense with his efficiency and he's a negative on defense, it's a tough sell for me, but maybe he does improve those things.
LaMelo Ball at 6. You would have thought that you went to Charlotte last week.
Yeah, I mean, LaMelo Ball, I'll take over Sengun. So
here we go. Joel, appreciate you coming on, doing your flu game. This is you sick, by the way. Still coming out here with an AR just ready to shoot, bro. This is crazy. Love it. Appreciate you fighting through, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me on.